Hey everybody, it's Avatan and Hybrid back again for another podcast. This time we are here to give you our final review of The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to go ahead and get us started? Because I got some stuff to say.
Yeah, let me hear your thoughts.
All
Yeah.
right. I just saw this YouTube uh video post literally like 5 minutes ago. And it's titled Worst Star Wars. The Acolyte is the worst Star Wars show or piece of media in the history of Star Wars. And the first thing this person says is that the Jedi spite in the show and painting the Jedi in a bad light is ruining Star Wars.
Oh, so that's
I
what you
just
think.
right. That's a pretty bold set of statements, right? The issue I have with that statement, and the people in the comments mostly agreed. Now, I have said before in the other video, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I do like to look at things from a critical point of view, and I do like to analyze things. And sometimes I do it as a joke, but sometimes, and a lot of time I do it as for fun. But the first three Star Wars movies, episodes 4, 5, and 6, are about a Jedi who finds an orphan who tries to convince him to kill his dad
Yeah.
without telling him his dad is alive, the orphan. He doesn't tell him that his dad is alive, and he doesn't tell this dude he has a twin sister that also is alive. We know from Star Wars Leia that Obi-Wan knows, or Obi-Wan, sorry, the show. We know that Obi-Wan knows Princess Leia is alive. He
Yeah.
almost let this dude fornicate with his sister, and he tried to convince this dude to kill his dad. And Obi-Wan's one of my favorite characters
Oh, I love Obi-Wan.
in all of Star Wars. He's one of my favorite characters. He's one of most people's favorite characters in Star Wars. He's a beloved character, right?
Yeah, I feel like everybody, especially the people who really like those first three episodes. So episode one, two, three.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, those are Obi-Wan shines in that entire part of the
Prequels,
series.
yeah.
Yeah.
He is the prequels for a lot of people. Anakin's acting wasn't that great. Um, it got better towards the end, but Jar Jar Binks was annoying as hell. But Obi-Wan was one of the best parts, besides the fights, of the prequels. So, but looking at Star Wars objectively, the first three movies we're introduced to, the Jedi are on a rocky start from the morality standpoint. Yoda and Obi-Wan are actively trying to convince an orphan to kill his estranged dad. That is the summary of Star Wars.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up, ain't it?
Yes.
Little
Now,
too much, I think.
now, I'm not saying they made the wrong choice. I'm not saying that the secrets weren't to save the galaxy. All I'm saying is, from that perspective, as we're introduced to the Jedi, they are not all the way good. That's just my argument. I'm not saying it any more deeper than that. It's just that so after I seen the movies, I've always, as I said before, I never saw the Jedi as the quote unquote good guys. I very seldom
Yeah.
see anybody as the good guys in any media I watch. I always see antagonists and protagonists. The Jedi are the protagonist, but as a group, they work for the good. I can say that, but are they always on the moral high ground? For sure, no. The first three movies we're introduced to throw that in our face. The fact that people has rose tinted goggles about it, and they ignore the fact that the for the original beloved movies, the Jedi did not have the moral high ground.
Yeah. I mean,
Um, go ahead.
no, I mean with the moral high ground, it's like I feel like in all of Star Wars that you rarely ever see the Jedi lie, but they only ever tell you so much
Half
of what you
truths,
need to know that
right?
it's like they're always withholding something. There's always someone who knows more.
Well, they're not gonna while they not gonna lie to you. If Luke might have asked, "Hey, do you know my dad?" Blah blah. I actually think he did. Actually, Obi-Wan did lie. Luke did ask him if he knew his dad, and Obi-Wan told him the vague truth that his dad was dead. It's been a while since I've seen the original, so forgive me. But
Yeah,
he told him that his dad was like a great soldier and he died or some shit. Um, so that's a lie. But like you said, there is a lot of technical lies because technically Anakin did die. From a writing standpoint, Anakin died,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Vader
When
was
he became
born.
Vader, yeah,
Right, right. I can get that. Um, but that's a problem that I have with people who are willing to admit that angle. You don't have to like that angle, but that angle's there. That
yeah,
the Jedi weren't always good. I think the second angle is the Jedi are very stubborn. They only like to do things one way. And I think it boxes them into screwing themselves over. The one way approach to things, it 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 breaks people. The one way approach to handling your emotions, the one way approach to handling recruitment, I think it breaks people to the point where they cause their problems. As I stated before we got to this point in the other episodes, is like I predicted it. It said the Jedi's philosophy causes their own problems. And I didn't even know that all this crazy stuff was gonna happen. Um, what's your opinion on that?
to what you just said. The one-way approach. Uh, the Jedi only know one way, and it's pretty fucked up. It's a very fucked up way that they know. They don't feed you anything. They don't want to give you anything. And it really comes to light, I think, in this new series, The Acolyte. So, coming into the episode 5, we start to get the biggest moments yet of the Acolyte. There's a lot of mounting tensions, a lot of things building up. There's you could just feel that a conflict is about to happen. Uh, However, what do you think? What do you think of the start of this second half of the season?
I think it's very good. I think that going into it, knowing how much other people disliked it being, hyper public information, I found it to be very intriguing and interesting. I also think the fights were some of the best in Star Wars in episodes 5 and 6. Well, through the finale, I think all the fights, all a lot of my issues in the first fight scenes that I had commented on, some of those were much better. Choreography was much tighter. The the like you said, the tensions were good during the fights and leading up to the fight. I didn't know what was going to happen. The dude, I forget his name, but the Sith dude blocked a lightsaber with his lightsaber proof helmet. It happened in the blink of an eye. I don't know if you caught it,
Yeah,
but I was like, that's crazy. That is a crazy that's not a Star Wars thing. Some of the Star Wars fights have not been very visceral, if that makes any sense. And I felt like the combat was very, very in your face, very visceral, very. It was fantasy, but it felt real in a way.
Yeah.
The stakes felt real. I guess that's the good way to say it. I never really felt that from Star Wars before. The stakes. I never felt like, oh, this person may die, this person may live, this person may die. I have personally never felt that in Star Wars before.
No.
It's always been pretty cut and dry what was gonna happen. I would say Han Solo dying was probably one of my biggest surprises in Star Wars, and it's in the group of movies that people don't like from Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you thought that would, really never happen. There's not a lot of that anymore, you know.
Well, Star Wars as a whole never had that, to me, never had that surprise factor. It
Yeah.
never had that anticipation
Yeah.
of the characters generally felt safe in Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Qui-Gon Jinn was someone we kind of knew he was gonna. The death flags were all throughout Part One,
Yeah.
so or not Part One, yeah, Part One. The death flags were in abundance, so him dying wasn't a surprise. The way it happened was really fast, and you're like, oh shit. What happened to him was easy to miss. I think the Acolyte did a good job of fast-paced combat along with things being pretty fluid. I know you said you liked the little dagger lightsaber.
Yeah. He was the little guy, It's a surprise, the sneak attack, the surprise attack.
Yeah,
It's everything you need, man, in the small package.
I think that. Oh, another thing the YouTuber I had watch had said was they didn't like the fact that Osha just turned evil. Um, I think that's a disingenuous take. I don't think that's fair to the writers. She didn't turn evil. She
No.
was upset. Being upset doesn't make you evil. Wanting to get revenge on someone who killed your mother and lying about it for 16 or so years, I don't know her age, but lying about it for 16 years and wanting to choke the life out of them, I find that to be a realistic human emotion. I don't
Well,
find that to be evil at one bit.
well, here's the thing too. So you're only allowed to kill evil people? Like I don't. I guess what defines evil? You know,
Correct. And that's something,
it's very hypocritical.
thinking critically, like I had said earlier, to some people, what Soul did is evil.
Yeah, no, what Soul did was definitely evil. But
Not
Soul,
to everybody. Not to everybody. Some people would have an opinion that he did it all for the better good. He's not evil. He's just a good guy who made a mistake. I can agree with that approach to the point
mm,
where I think what he did was evil. I
yeah,
don't think he's evil. I think what he did is evil, and I think those are two different things from a theory standpoint.
no, definitely. I mean, Soul is, there's very mixed opinions on Soul. Uh, you love him at the beginning. You think he's great. He's coming in, he's the rescuer. He's, he's a big part of all of this. But then you find out there's more to the story that we didn't know. Um, and it really makes the story a lot richer. Gives it a little backbone. Some fucked up shit happened. You know,
I
so
think,
so killed the girl's mother. He lied to her.
albeit by accident, sorta,
I mean, it
he
wasn't by
did.
accident, but he
It was
accidentally put his lightsaber through her.
he was standing right next to her in a tense combat moment,
Yeah,
and she went shadow form like she was gonna do something.
yeah. I
So
mean,
that's the accident part. And she was like, I wasn't gonna attack. And I'm like, you are a witch and you just look like you were turning into a demon.
yeah. And she was gonna let May go with him too.
Right, but she didn't say that.
She didn't have a chance.
because she went demon mode.
No, because they just barged in there. I mean,
Oh,
they,
I agree with that. They shouldn't have been there in the first
I mean,
place.
Torben's a fucking idiot.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, no, that's
I don't think that the Acolyte painted the Jedi in a bad light. What I think it did is humanize the Jedi.
yeah. Little
And I wonder how willing people are to see that.
well,
That
if you think of the movies, right? So most of the Jedi are um yeah, I don't want to say emotionless, but they
they
don't
attempt to be.
yeah, they don't show a lot in the Acolyte. Jedi's are they're smiling, there's it's really vastly different take on the Jedi. That makes the Jedi more, like real people.
I don't like I said, I don't think it's a wholly different take. I do agree with you that they definitely seem to be a little bit more emotional, but I will say that Qui-Gon Jinn was quite emotional. Obi-Wan, when he was younger, was quite emotional. Anakin was super emotional. Um,
You know who
Luke
I
was
you
emotional.
know who I want to see get emotional?
Yoda.
Yeah, dude. Maybe we'll get to it in the Acolyte. I'm not saying he's in it, but he
Maybe there will be a season 2, but
yeah. That
I,
was
I just
that was kind of a weird thing too. Towards the end of the season, you see a couple characters that, you know, kind of lead into what's to come. And I feel like Star Wars doesn't usually do that, leave you on a little cliffhanger. Uh, but it was nice to see, you know?
overall, what do you rate the show?
The show itself, uh, let's see. I would give it probably a 7.5 out of 10 so far, which is, it's a watch when it's out, for me.
I give it an 8. I give it a I would recommend it to people. I would probably at this point I would probably be more likely to recommend it to a non-Star Wars fan than a Star Wars fan, mainly because I think as a standalone content, it's enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think, like I said before in the other video, I think slapping that Star Wars logo gives people these expectations. But if someone told me they hadn't seen any Star Wars based on the time period that it takes place in the show and the ease of watch of the show, I would recommend this first to them.
Oh yeah.
Person.
Yeah, this is one of those shows that you don't have to watch Star Wars previously to actually enjoy it.
And it
Uh,
takes place before all the events in
yeah,
any
I mean
live action Star
this
Wars.
literally has nothing to do with any other Star Wars, so it's not going to break any stories, not going to ruin anything for you. It's just going to give you a take on something that might draw you into this universe.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So closing thoughts. Like I said, I'd recommend the show. I think it was enjoyable. I think the haters are gonna hate. I think people are gonna look at it through disingenuous judgment. I'm not saying you're not allowed to, a person can't agree with my opinion, but not willing people not willing to debate things and not seeing things that were thrown in our face about the Jedi already not being some of the best people, their whole uh process of going through things and all the problems they have technically caused for themselves in the pursuit of the killings and ending the Sith is an organization that seems to be chasing their tail. And I don't dislike the Jedi. I find that to be a very realistic approach to an organization. Any organization, even though no matter how much good they're going to do, they're going to have their issues. And people expecting the Jedi to be perfect, is it? I think that's going to be a letdown for them. They're not.
Yeah,
They're humans.
they're space police.
They're space police or space special forces.
Yeah,
Uh,
space
but
SWAT. Yeah, the
space
space
SWAT,
SWAT
right?
team.
Right. But they're gonna have their flaws. I am not saying the Jedi aren't a force for good. I'm just saying that they don't always do good things.
Well, maybe they should make them wear body cameras.
Yeah.
You know?
Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Oh, that's funny. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up for for this week's episode, and this is our take on the Acolyte. We had a lot of fun with the show. We definitely recommend everybody to watch it. Tell us what you think in the comments.
Yeah. Tell me what you think. Debate me. Tell me
Debate
I'm
me.
wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Debate me. You better not tell me I'm the master debater too.
All right, everybody, leave a like. We'll see you soon.
Shout out to Brittany.